gentlemen, it is very important to me to be Australian. And I think that one of the things that I've noticed tonight chatting to a lot of you is how passionate you all are about bringing Australia and India together. So it really is an honour for me to be standing up here this evening. Now, before we get started, we do have to do the housekeeping, of course. You may have noticed, I don't know if you have, but there's an awful lot of exits in this room. I was going to do the air hostess thing and point out one or two, but if I did that, it would just be ridiculous. So there are literally a plethora of exits around the room tonight. Now, if you need to use the exit, it is to be used in an emergency event only. That means fire, flood, or if Raja, the President's speech, goes on for way too long, which it probably will, I've read it, please feel free to use emergency exits. Now, the bathrooms, should you need them, are out this door here. There's an exit sign over it, which doesn't really distinguish it in any way, shape, or form, but out that way and to the left. Okay, I've just dropped something, excuse me. It's okay, it wasn't an important one. It just had love hearts and kisses on it. That was from Raja, how strange. Was that meant for me? So, we were hoping, of course, to have your entrees around about 7 o'clock, but they're going to be a little bit delayed because we're taking a while to sit down. But that's because we're lovely, right? We're friendly. We're all networking. And we are going to then hopefully have your main course out somewhere around 8 o'clock, and we hope to finish up this evening's events around 9:05. That's what it says on the form, 9:05, okay? So we'll try and stick to that. So there'll be plenty of food for you tonight. There will be coffee and dessert as well. And we have some really esteemed people here tonight. We have 8 speakers in total. I will do a small, very short introduction for you, just give you an idea who they are. This event tonight is a very significant business event within the Australian and the Indian business space. And given the fact that discussions are in progress at CECA, this Australian-Indian business relationship has really taken on a very special significance. So I would like to start this evening by introducing you to a man of special significance, Mr. Raja Venkateswar. You see, I told you I'd just say it really quickly. The President of AIBC. Would you like to come to the stage, please, sir?
Deborah, the two of us know each other for years and years and years, and you still managed to get my name wrong. You did it on purpose, is it? Your sense of humor escapes me. And by the way, all of you, the doors are all locked from outside. You guys can't escape. You better listen to what I have to say. I don't think you have a choice out here. And I promise you, it will not be short and snappy. It's against the grain of being an Indian to talk less. It's just not done, right? So, good evening, friends. The Honourable Christopher Pyne, Federal Minister for Industry, Innovation and Sciences. His Excellency High Commissioner of India, Mr. Suri. The Honourable John Ajaka MP, NSW Minister for Multiculturalism, who is officially representing the Honourable Mike Baird, Premier of NSW. The Honourable Pro Goward, MP, Mr. Sudhir, CGI of India in Sydney, AIBC National Chairman Dipendra Ghani, AIBC National Vice Chairwoman Shiba Nankyola, CBA, our national partner, Jeff Lee, MP, Damien Tudhop, MP, Mr. Nihal Gupta, and Mr. Glenn McGrath, the one person in this room who doesn't need an epithet. All Indians and Australians know Glenn, easy. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you this evening on behalf of Australia-India Business Council, NSW. This is our signature annual event, the AIBC NSW Australia-India Address for 2015. We have received apologies from the Honourable Andrew Robb, MP, Federal Minister for Trade and Investment, who could not make it this evening as he had to travel overseas. We are delighted Honourable Christopher Pyne is with us today. Thank you, sir. The Australia-India Business Council of NSW, in our view, and obviously in my view, is the most critical state chapter for AIBC. I will obviously say that. It plays a pivotal role in facilitating bilateral trade between NSW and India. We work very closely with the NSW government through the Premier's office, the NSW government trade and investment offices, and their India-based representatives. We also work very closely with the Indian government, the High Commission of India, and the Indian CGI office and the trade offices here in Sydney. This has been an extremely busy year for us, extremely busy. And we have hosted a number of very successful events and delegations throughout the year. We were very well represented in the delegation undertaken by Honorable Minister Andrew Robb when he led the largest ever delegation to India earlier this year. The then AIBC NSW president, I recollect telling me when he got back from India, saying how positive he was with all the discussions they had while in India. He was extremely happy about it. Our annual budgets we do for all our members and guests are usually very well appreciated. We have 6 industry chapters today active, and all of them have had several large events through the year. In fact, this month we had 2 large events, sold-out events by 2 of our chapters, Women in Business and ICT. We had more than 80 people each in each of them attending. Just last week, we actually welcomed the largest ever delegation by the Australian Chamber of Commerce. And for me, it was very delighted. I was happy to see the kind of people-to-people, member-to-member discussions that happened that evening. And make no mistake about it, we have a lot of more events throughout this year. Going back in history, the 2 great nations, India and Australia, we have had some great sporting ties. Back in the early 50s, when a lot of Indians first landed in Fremantle near Perth, they came en masse and they brought the hockey playing skills with them. They actually changed the way Aussies played hockey. I'm not saying this. I'm just quoting Rick Charlesworth, probably the finest ever hockey player in Australia. In '56, when India played Australia at the Melbourne Olympics, there were 4 Aussie players who were, till very recently, Indian citizens. My father, who's probably seen every single match at the Eden Gardens in Calcutta for 40 years, always talks very highly about the Aussie cricket team. He always used to say the Aussies used to bring their best team to India, even in the 40s and the 50s, when other nations like England, for example, we love the Poms, don't we, would always bring their second-string team to India. There's deep affection and admiration for Australia in the Indian psyche. Trade and commerce predates all of this by a century and more. From then on to now, it's been a great journey, expressed through a shared love for cricket and hockey, trade and commerce, democracy, English, Commonwealth, and some incest curry. Yet, think of all of this. The trade between India and Australia is still languishing at $15 billion per annum. What is holding it back? Why isn't it growing? And when I think back about it, and I go back to my days in uni, a long, long time back, I had black hair in those days. Actually, had hair in those days, actually. And back at Chicago Booth School of Business, on day 1, I was told, you're now at an Ivy League. Your default setting can't be mediocrity. So why are 2 Ivy League nations? Why are we letting our default settings be rather average, rather mediocre? I don't think it's right? Think of it this way. Australia has been a nation of innovators, always been. Think Wi-Fi. It's an Aussie invention. Think CSL. Think the black box flight recorder. Think the Ute. And most importantly, think about the double button cistern in the toilets. How many millions of liters of water we have saved. India is a massive market, a leader in frugal innovation. It's home to 1 billion+ people in the world's fastest growing middle class. It enjoys great demographic wealth. We all know that, don't we? What some of us don't know is Indians account for some of the most senior positions in Fortune 100 firms and are responsible for close to 1/5 of all tech startups in the Silicon Valley. There are entrepreneurs and innovators everywhere in India and not just in the big cities. Many of us speak English. At least half of us do, some badly with a bad accent like me, which is probably what the rest of the world put together does anyway. So, and wonder of wonders, we even, a few Indians even play cricket. And as Mr. McGrath would admit, a few of us even play well, once in a while rather, at least. So why are the trade numbers seemingly a tiring exercise in the unfulfilled? And if at all, the numbers actually come down in the last 5 years, which is rather unfortunate, rather. In my career as a consultant, I've worked with many startups, I've worked with many large firms across US, across Europe, Latin America, you name it. And I met many a client who didn't believe in the flat world theory. And they probably didn't believe it because they were scared of change and transformation, what it entails. Any change, any transformation is disruptive. They were scared, that their ideas will not get board approval. Sometimes they're scared, they will not have the resources to fulfill their ambitious goals. They were scared sometimes. Time is not in their hands. They were scared it may cost too much, or as a former Wall Street man will tell you, ROIs aren't good enough. They were scared, and often they scaled down their ambitions. I think the time for us has come to change all that. I think the time has come for us to take that great leap of faith, the leap from being average and mediocre to being excellent, from an ambitious existence to remarkable success. I think a lot has happened the last 1 year, especially after the 2 visits by the 2 prime ministers the last year. And indeed, AIBC was an integral part of those 2 visits and those initiatives. I believe that has laid a very strong platform for disruptive, innovative growth. And I think SICA and FTA are key inflection points, and I look forward to hearing more about it today. Bottom line is, I think it's time for us to take advantage of all that and more. And if you take a step back and think about it, where is this exponential growth we keep talking about going to come from? You talk to any futurist, any academic, and they all talk about it's going to come from the knowledge-based economy, from services innovation, from SMAC. Sorry, SMAC is Social, Mobile, Analytics, and Cloud. SMAC is something which a few of us had in college, right? So, and IoT. It's going to come from disruptive technologies. That's where most people think tomorrow's massive growth is going to come from. And where is the largest strength of engineering talent globally, software engineering talent globally, outside Silicon Valley? It's in the triangle formed by Chennai, Bangalore, and Hyderabad. And how do we in Australia connect to India by cable? We have one. We have one cable which goes to the Straits of Malacca. And that's about trying to cross the Harbour Bridge at peak office hours. Ask me, I do it once a week. And to put that in perspective, we have 5 to the US. I think the way forward, in my considered opinion, is to consider the Indian Ocean as a key enterprise area, not just the Pacific. It connects the fastest growing economies in the world today to Australia. Think Africa. Nigeria grows at about 10% per annum, give or take. Think Indonesia. And by the way, Sumatra and Java are in the Indian Ocean, not in Pacific. South Asia, and it's called the Indian Ocean for a very good reason. Perhaps the governments from Australia and India will consider an Indian Ocean Dialogue Forum, and not just an APAC forum, perhaps. I think at the end of the day, we just need to be very, very bold about it. We need to transform, and we need to exponentially grow cross-border trade. And we at AIBC and SW are committed to ensure and assist and help and enable our members to take advantage of such disruptive opportunities that are all available to us. At the end of the day, we at AIBC, we are a member-based organization. We are for the members, of the members, and by the members. No guesses from where I got that, at least. So that's an easy one to guess. We welcome new members, and we encourage all members to actually contribute to AIBC. Excuse me. It should be remiss if I miss thanking our AIBC New South Wales corporate sponsors who have always stood by us, especially CBA. Thank you, Annette. Our numerous table sponsors, and India Tourism, our event sponsor. I would like to thank my AIBC NSW committee for their support. A few of them are here. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. The national leadership team in Dipin and Shiba and Con, all 3 of you have been magnificent. Thanks for all the assistance. Our executive officer, Sam Dutt, she's one of the most passionate AIBC members you can ever imagine. Thank you, Sam. And Samir Arora, my friend, my vice president. And it's W-I-S-E, vice president, for a change, not V-I-C-E. And thanks, Mr. Forward, Tony Forward, thank you, with whom I spent many a Friday morning discussing AIBC, cross-border trade, derivatives, Forex, name it, you name it, and my speech too. We have almost solved world hunger last Friday, didn't we? I hope all of you have an enjoyable and informative evening, and I look forward to catching up with you at one of our events in the future. Thank you.